Please come forward to accept the NCAA Championship Trophy.
That was the scene in Kansas City on December 6, 2014. As for this edition of the ODAC 40 Top Features, we take a look back at the National Women's Soccer Championship won by Lynchburg College in 2014. It's an experience that still resonates both with Coach and with his players.
Well, it's still pretty extraordinary, and you know, these past 2 years trying to get back just showed us how hard it was and what an amazing accomplishment it was. To go 27 wins without a loss and to score the goals that we scored and just the way that season progressed, it was truly a fairy tale year. And to have the injuries, avoid those injuries when we could, and then when they happened, somehow be able to overcome them. It was just truly a storybook fairy tale kind of adventure, and it was one of the most awesome journeys I've ever been on as a coach.
I think it still feels unreal. I don't think it's anything that'll completely sink in, or if it does, it'll be years down the road, kind of looking back on it. That entire season was just a dream. I've never been part of a team that we were so confident. We worked so well together. We loved each other so much. Everything was for the team. We have a theme every year, and that year was Ubuntu. It means I am because we are, and that perfectly shows what we all wanted to do that year. We as individuals couldn't win the national championship, but together as a team we were able to, because we believed in each other and we relied on each other. And before the tournament, we started, I forgot before which game, but everyone made a shirt with our own name on the back, and we gave it to someone else, and that you played for that player. So you had that player in your head the entire game, and you wanted to play for them, to get them another game, not just for yourself. And I think that was a huge factor in us. That's part of our entire program in general. It's kind of one of the things we're a sisterhood. We rely on each other. We love each other. But that year was just so strong, and I think that made a huge difference.
You win 25 in a row, and you know that usually the inevitable is you're going to lose, and then the season ends. And in this case, we got to Messiah, and we had a pretty devastating injury happen in the game before that with Angela Bosco, who later became the National Player of the Year, went down with an ACL injury. So we went into that game a little bit nervous and a little bit, I was sort of disappointed because I thought, man, this dream that we had, this amazing team that I had, all of a sudden one injury could curtail that. And the team just, again, it was that amazing leadership from a senior, Jen Snyder, making an awesome header to win the game. And then that belief in overtime that we could hang in there. And Messiah left, they missed a couple big, open shots. And we sort of started to feel a little bit like maybe Providence was on our side. And once we got to those PKs and we saw that first PK and Tess sort of dove off her line to make a pretty amazing save, we started to believe more and more. And then, the pressure sort of went away. We felt that once we got through that first penalty kick game that we could play with anybody because we felt like we just played the best team in the country. And then we felt like, everything on that from that point on was just going to be, icing on the cake. We're going to the Final Four. We're going to Kansas City. We're going to get to experience that. I'd done it in 2009 with the team, and I wanted this team just to experience the Final Four because it's such a magical time. And then to go and be successful and ultimately win on another penalty kick. We got into that, and that was a particularly scary one because their coach knew where we were going. And that's, I'm glad my team didn't know that. I knew that as I was sitting there because we're watching her point to their goalie and telling her which way we're going, and our kids stepped up and just nailed every shot like they needed to, and again, it was just a pretty unique, extraordinary experience and just a special season.
I think there was a lot of pressure. I know, and for me, I felt a lot of pressure. We had just come off an awesome season where we were undefeated, didn't lose an ODAC game, didn't lose a non-conference game. So there was a lot of expectation going into the tournament, and every win in the tournament, we were just one step closer, and the pressure began mounting more. And I specifically remember texting my friends at home, and before the final, the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16 games, I'm like, if we lose this, it's all over. This entire momentum has been building for nothing, and so that was scary. But at the same time, the entire team believed so much that we could do it. It was incredible. So it was nerve-wracking the whole way. But then it was just incredible to get each win. And each win just kind of made us more confident, especially that Elite Eight game. After we did that without Ange, we were like, wow, we can really do this. One player didn't make our team. We played for her, and then when she was able to come back in the Final Four in a national championship game, it was just, we all were just like propelled with excitement and momentum, and we just wanted to win more for her. So I think we played for each other a lot during that tournament.
Early on, I knew this was a pretty special team, and coming into the season, I was probably more nervous in that season than any I'd ever been, because I sort of knew what I'd got, and I was just praying that I didn't screw it up as a coach. And so literally, I truly just stepped back. I let them play and tried to do as little as possible to mess things up and let them, just play the special, beautiful soccer that they were able to play. And that was what was even better. I won't take any credit for coaching that team. They did it themselves. They had great team leadership, and they had on the field the energy at all times was just amazing, and just their confidence. They just believed 100% that they weren't going to lose that year, and they were successful in that belief.
I'm extremely proud of being part of Lynchburg College women's soccer. It's the greatest decision I've ever made in my entire life, coming here and playing soccer. And it's just, I feel like I'm part of something so much larger than myself, and to know that I've been able to help make history for future players coming in, to know that they have the national championship dream now. It's more of a reality than it was for us. I just think that's so important. To think you can do it is half the battle of actually getting there. And we truly believed that year that we could, and we were able to. But yeah, it's just, I'm really proud of the legacy, but I'm also so grateful for the people that came before us.
Yeah, when I came in 23 years ago, we were just sort of an average team, and I was about 3 years in, and my assistant and I said, we thought it was going to be easier than this, and we thought we were going to come in and just really turn the program around and make this great march right away to the ODAC championship and then national championships, and we realized that wasn't realistic at all. And then we had a special team come. We brought in 14 freshmen one year, and that team miraculously won the ODAC for the first time. And we won against Randolph-Macon, who'd been the perennial winner for years and years. And in my first 3 years against that team, we'd lose those games 6-0. And so that fourth year when we finally won that ODAC, and we won it on this field, and we got to ring our bell, it really started the history of the program. From that point on, we started to believe that we could do some bigger things. Ultimately the goal was always to win the ODAC, and when I first came to the ODAC, I'd come from a college where we weren't in a conference, so I never really understood how important the conference was. And every year as we won another ODAC or fought for another ODAC championship, we realized how big it is to win that conference, and then how neat it is to go represent your conference when you get to the NCAA tournament. And we started to peck away. We started to get to the final 16, and we got to the final 8. And then in 2009, we made an amazing run to the Final Four and got out to San Antonio and lost that game on penalty kicks. So, sometimes in a long career, you're going to win as many as you lose on penalty kicks, because it is sort of a random event, in my opinion. But, that 2009 year really finally made us believe that it was possible. And then when you got that special team like I felt in 2014, that's why I got so nervous that year. I just thought, oh my gosh, I have it. I have a team that, can compete with anybody in the United States, and we have a chance to win this. And all our history, our ODAC championship sort of prepared the way for that, because it's just a battle. To win an ODAC championship is just, I think, one of the hardest things in Division III women's soccer, to get out of the ODAC and be successful. And we were able to do that, and that just prepared us through the years. And so when we finally got to that 2014 team, we had a lot of history behind us. We had a lot of big wins. We had a lot of amazing comebacks and amazing goals. And there was just a lot of belief, from the coaching staff down to every player that walked on that field, that we could be successful.